Okay, hello. Good morning. Pakinig ako?
Yes, yes po.
Okay, sige. Paki-turn on muna ng camera. Need lang for documentation. Hello, yung iba? Paki-turn on muna. Class picture tayo. Sige, thank you. You can turn off na. Okay, so attendance muna tayo, ano? So kindly say present na lang kapag nandito sa meeting. Abrenica?
Present po, sir.
Ambulo?
Present po, sir.
Atienza? Atienza? Wala? Wait lang ah. Again, Atienza, wala?
Present po, sir.
Bagsit?
Present po, sir.
Karaig?
Present po, sir.
Castillo?
Present po, sir.
Castillo? Yung isa pang Castillo? Wala? Concepcion?
Present po, sir.
De Castro?
Present po, sir.
De los Reyes? De los Reyes? Wala? Turon?
Present po.
Yung isa pa?
Present po.
Endaya?
Present po.
Galeano?
Present po, sir.
Evangelista?
Present po, sir.
Galak?
Present po.
Garcia?
Present po, sir.
Gayeta?
Present po.
Gonzales?
Present po.
Legaspi?
Present po.
Leron?
Present po, sir.
Lontok?
Present po, sir.
Magbohos?
Present po, sir.
Magbuhos? Si Magbuhos? Wala? Magno?
Present po, sir.
Magtapat?
Present po, sir.
Manalo?
Present po, sir.
Medina?
Present po, sir.
Melo.
Present po.
Mendoza.
Present po.
Montoya.
Present po.
Nicole.
Present po, sir.
Panaglima. Radok.
Present po, sir.
Ramirez.
Present po, sir.
Silio.
Present po, sir.
Sato. Senyase.
Present po, sir.
Tiyay.
Present po, sir.
Umali. Umali. Villegas.
Present po.
Present po, sir, yung isang umali.
Okay. Sige.
Sir, isa pong Melo na tawag niyo. Present po ako, sir.
Okay. Sige. Oo nga pala, no. Tapos, si Castillo, present. Magbuhos, present. Si De Los Reyes, wala. De Los Reyes lang absent. Okay. So, let's start. So, last meeting.
Sir, excuse po.
Yes.
Mali po, present. Nag-restart lang po ako. Gawa, wala pa ako marinig kanina.
Sige, okay lang. Ano naman. Naka-present ka naman.
Sige po, thank you po.
So, again, si De Los Reyes lang absent, no? So, last meeting, hindi natin na-discuss ng ayos yung ating first topic. So, i-discuss uli natin ngayon. Ano? Yan. So, again, every sagot counts as recitation na, ha? Simulan na natin dito tapos sunodin natin yung topic 2 which is fundamentals. Pero yung first part lang dun, solar radiation lang. Then next meeting, continuation na lang ng topic 2. Ano? So again, introduction to solar energy. Any idea po ulit ng solar energy? Yes po, Mr. Von Castillo. Sige po, Von Castillo. Wala. Sige, ikaw na lang, Miss Umali.
Bale, sir, ito po yung energy po na nakukuha po natin sa sun. Yun po yung nare-receive po natin in forms of mga radiation po.
Okay, so again, solar energy is the energy we get from the sun and there are two ways to harness solar energy. So meron po ba dito may idea kung ano yung two ways natin sa pag-harness ng energy? Sige nga po, Miss Bea Evangelista.
First one po is photovoltaic, where the use of solar panel is used to convert solar energy to power. And then the next one is solar thermal, which is yung mga steam turbine po or yung mga direct heating system po.
Okay, or heat yung ginagamit ng solar thermal. Ano? So, proceed tayo, no? So, brief history ulit muna tayo. So, again, in 1839, na-discuss na naman to. Si Edmund Becquerel again, yung nakadiscover ng ating photovoltaic effect at the age of 19. Then, in 1883, the first solar panel was invented by Charles Friet, where he coated a thin layer of selenium with an extremely thin layer of gold. Ano? Then after that, in 1941, the rise of semiconductors is being processed na. Ano? So dito, silicon na yung ginamit ni Russell S. All. So can anyone give an information bakit silicon ang ginagamit na ni Russell S. All? Bakit kaya silicon na? Yes po, Ken David Garcia.
Sir, kasi po yung silicon is considered the most abundant po na semiconductor na available.
Okay, yun na yun ano. Kasi ang silicon, on Earth, it is the second most abundant element that you can find. Ano? So, It led to the first PN junction cell, which will be discussed later. May video na tayo ngayon. Hindi na kailangan ng projector, ano. Pero ngayon, mapapanood yun na. Mas maiintindihan natin. Then in 1950, the Bell Laboratory scientists focused on photovoltaic or PV developments and began utilizing silicons. So this breakthrough was credited to Daryl Chaplin, Calvin Fuller, and Gerald Pearson. Then, in 1960s and 1970s, production of solar panels was made possible. So nadi-distribute na yung ating mga solar panels on different areas. Yun nga lang, hindi pa rin siya readily available sa lahat. Kasi may pagkamahal pa rin talaga ito. Yung mga materials nila, nung unang panahon, ang mga mahal pa. Ano ang gamit? At saka kakaunti pa ang ating information and knowledge about solar energy. So pagkamahal pa talaga ang mga solar panel noon. Pero ngayon, actually mahal pa rin naman ngayon, mas afford na nga lang ng mga kaya. So in the present time, during 1950s, the world had less than a watt of solar cell. So less than a watt lang daw ng solar cell. Sa tingin niyo, bakit kaya less than a watt lang? Anyone? Tingin nyo, bakit kaya less than a watt lang ng solar cell ang kayang makuha? Wala? Sige, ako na lang. So, in 1950s, kasi nga, kaya less than a watt lang ang ating sa solar cell na nakukuha, tayo ay nasa development stage pa lang. Nag-aaral pa rin tayo nung unang panahon, nag-aaral pa lang ng solar energy. Nagde-develop pa lang. Pero pagdating sa modern times, actually, ganun pa rin. We are still on the development stage. Wala pa rin tayong nakukuhang 100% efficiency na technology na kayang mag-harness ng solar energy. Sa ngayon, to date ngayon, ang pinakamataas ng efficiency ng ating technology sa pag-harness ng solar energy is around 40 to 50%. I think, nakalimutan ko lang. Pero sa video mamaya, makikita nyo. So again, ang pinaka-highest na efficiency ng ating PV system is 40 to 50%. Siguro 47 ata yun. Then yung sa mga common naman na solar panel, ang efficiency nila, yung average efficiency ng solar panel, yung mga common, is around 15 to 20% efficient pa lang. So ang baba pa ng efficiency natin. Kahit dati pa, hindi pa tayo umaabot sa acceptable efficiency o yung mataas talagang efficiency. Okay? Kasi nga tayo ay nasa under development stage pa lang. Inaaral pa rin natin yan. Meron pa rin mga studies na nako-conduct. May mga scientists pa rin na nag-aaral tungkol sa solar energy natin and how we can harness, how we can improve our technology. So fast forward to the 21st century, 50 years of continued discovery and development of silicon and other PV materials and still ongoing. Ayun, yung sinabi ko. Still ongoing pa rin yung studies natin. So today, solar panels provide electricity to millions of houses worldwide, power up buildings, satellite, and provide clean energy all around the world. See, so itong clean energy na to, not necessarily wala na siyang yung masamang na-i-emit, like greenhouse effect. Sinabi lang dito, clean energy, kasi ang nai-emit nitong greenhouse effect is minimal lang. Not completely wala, minimal lang. Then, according to the IEA report, the global installed solar capacity dapat last year is 510 gigawatts. And the global installed renewable energy capacity is expected to reach 7,300 gigawatts between 2023 and 2028. So the price of silicon PV cells in the 1950s was $76 per watts. So ganun kamahal noong unang panahon, which significantly declined to $0.10 per watts in 2023. So as time passes, marami na tayo kasing nakukuhang materials. Lalo na yung silicon. Gamit na gamit kasi ang silicon sa atin in modern times kasi semiconductor yan. Sa dami nating appliances, mga kuryenteng kailangan, di ba? So yung mga silicon na yan, nagiging common na talaga. Sobrang common na yan ngayon. Okay? So moving on, So solar energy is the energy the Earth receives from the sun. So na-discuss naman to. And according to Ms. Umali, ito yung solar radiation ating natatanggap, yung ating hinaharness. Yun yung hinaharness natin, solar radiation. Or you can also call it solar irradiation, solar irradiance, yung mga photons, yung mga hinaharness pagdating sa PV system. Okay? So the main energy source in our Earth is the sun radiation. Okay? So the solar radiation amounts to 1.7 times 10 to the 17th watts. Okay? So as you can see on this image, yan. Ito yung image natin ng sun, di ba? So ang Earth, hindi 100% na-absorb ang solar radiation. Bakit hindi 100%? Kasi yung iba nai-scatter. Tapos yung iba nare-reflect back. So yung nagre-reflect back, papunta ulit yung outer space. Ano yung mga nakaka-reflect back? Unang-una, yung unang tatamaan niya is ang ating atmosphere or ozone layer. Nare-reflect back yung ibang solar radiation pa outer space. So hindi talaga 100% ang dumadapo sa Earth's surface. Okay? Then, ano pa yung mga nakaka-reflect back? Yung mga clouds, yung glaciers natin, mga ganun. So, some are converted to heat directly. Some is stored in water vapor. Some is consumed by wind and waters. And some are consumed by living things. Actually, dapat living things to. Kasi tayo, nag-absorb din tayo ng sun's radiation. May vitamins tayo nakukuha sa sun, di ba? So, ito, video to, no? So, wait lang. So let's watch a short video about what solar energy is.
The sun is the most plentiful source of energy we have. It's about 4.6 billion years old, with another 5 billion years of hydrogen fuel to burn in its lifetime. That gives us a renewable energy source that won't run out anytime soon, and it can be used without releasing greenhouse gases or other harmful byproducts. We can use that energy directly for hot water, lighting, heating, and even cooling. We can convert it to electricity to power anything from camper vans to suburban homes to shops to industrial processes. Solar could be the largest source of electricity in the world by 2050. And with the largest levels of solar irradiance per square metre of any continent in the world, Australia is well placed to take advantage. We already are. Over 2 million households use solar technology, more than any other country. So how do we turn sunlight into something we can use? And how can we rely on it when it's only available during the day? The two main technologies are solar photovoltaic and solar thermal. Solar photovoltaic, or PV, is a way to convert sunlight into electricity. When light photons hit a photovoltaic panel, they excite electrons free, causing the charge to build up, which gives us electricity. These solar panels are often installed on rooftops, integrated into building or vehicle designs, or attached to power plants in very large numbers. We're working on low-cost panels that are environmentally friendly to produce, thin, and even flexible, so we can generate electricity from the sun in all kinds of places we couldn't before. The other technology, solar thermal, turns sunlight into heat. At low temperatures, we can heat water or air for residential and commercial buildings. But when we concentrate sunlight, we can get much higher temperatures, turning water into steam to spin turbines, which gives us electricity. We're leading the way on methods to get more out of sunlight by using mirrors and lenses. And we're finding ways to store it for use when the sun's not shining, a cheap and effective alternative to storing electricity in batteries. Our need for energy to power our modern economy is always increasing, but with sun available and the right technology to harness it, we'll keep the lights switched on.
Okay, so yun yung solar energy, So we can again. So again, we can harness solar energy in two ways, namely solar photovoltaic and solar thermal. So again, solar photovoltaic, ang keyword dito sa PV system, solar photovoltaic or a PV system, more commonly known as PV system, is solar panels. So gumagamit tayo ng solar panels sa solar photovoltaic or PV system. Then pagdating naman sa solar thermal, ang keyword dito is heat. Heat yung ginagamit natin. Ayan. So solar thermal, the two forms of energy tapping method sa solar thermal, again, is the solar concentration. Kung saan dito, ginagamit natin yung when water evaporates or exposed to a very high temperatures, it turns into steam, then it drives the steam turbines. Then the second method naman for solar thermal is through heating systems or cooling systems. So dito sa Pilipinas, ang ginagamit natin cooling system since we are in a hot climate. And yun naman nasa mga cold climates naman or cold areas, meron silang mga heaters which is the heating system. So how does solar panels work? So watch ulit tayo ng short video kung paano gumagana ang solar panels.
The Earth intercepts a lot of solar power, 173,000 terawatts. That's 10,000 times more power than the planet's population uses. So is it possible that one day the world could be completely reliant on solar energy? To answer that question, we first need to examine how solar panels convert solar energy to electrical energy. Solar panels are made up of smaller units called solar cells. The most common solar cells are made from silicon, a semiconductor that is the second most abundant element on Earth. In a solar cell, crystalline silicon is sandwiched between conductive layers. Each silicon atom is connected to its neighbors by 4 strong bonds, which keep the electrons in place, so no current can flow. Here's the key. A silicon solar cell uses 2 different layers of silicon. An N-type silicon has extra electrons, and P-type silicon has extra spaces for electrons, called holes. Where the 2 types of silicon meet, electrons can wander across the p-n junction, leaving a positive charge on one side and creating negative charge on the other. You can think of light as the flow of tiny particles called photons shooting out from the sun. When one of these photons strikes the silicon cell with enough energy, it can knock an electron from its bond, leaving a hole. The negatively charged electron and location of the positively charged hole are now free to move around. But because of the electric field at the p-n junction, they'll only go one way. The electron is drawn to the n side, while the hole is drawn to the p side. The mobile electrons are collected by thin metal fingers at the top of the cell. From there, they flow through an external circuit, doing electrical work like powering a light bulb, before returning through the conductive aluminum sheet on the back. Each silicon cell only puts out half a volt, but you can string them together in modules to get more power. 12 photovoltaic cells are enough to charge a cell phone, while it takes many modules to power an entire house. Electrons are the only moving parts in a solar cell, and they all go back where they came from. There's nothing to get worn out or used up, so solar cells can last for decades. So what's stopping us from being completely reliant on solar power? There are political factors at play, not to mention businesses that lobby to maintain the status quo. But for now, let's focus on the physical and logistical challenges. And the most obvious of those is that solar energy is unevenly distributed across the planet. Some areas are sunnier than others. It's also inconsistent. Less solar energy is available on cloudy days or at night. So a total reliance would require efficient ways to get electricity from sunny spots to cloudy ones, and effective storage of energy. The efficiency of the cell itself is a challenge too. If sunlight is reflected instead of absorbed, or if dislodged electrons fall back into a hole before going through the circuit, that photon's energy is lost. The most efficient solar cell yet still only converts 46% of the available sunlight to electricity, and most commercial systems are currently 15 to 20% efficient. In spite of these limitations, it actually would be possible to power the entire world with today's solar technology. We'd need the funding to build the infrastructure and a good deal of space. Estimates range from tens to hundreds of thousands of square miles. Which seems like a lot, but the Sahara Desert alone is over 3 million square miles in area. Meanwhile, solar cells are getting better, cheaper, and are competing with electricity from the grid. And innovations like floating solar farms may change the landscape entirely. Thought experiments aside, there's the fact that over 1 billion people don't have access to a reliable electric grid, especially in developing countries, many of which are sunny. So in places like that, solar energy is already much cheaper and safer than available alternatives like kerosene. For, say, Finland or Seattle, though, effective solar energy may still be a little way off.
Okay, so who can give me the advantages and disadvantages of solar energy? Kahit thought lang or idea. Sige nga po, Villegas. Si Villegas po.
Hello po.
Ayun.
Yun, bali ang advantages po yung sa akin nga po sa pamamagitan po ng solar energy natin, ma-help po tayo na magkameron po ng energy which is masusuplayan po yung energy na kailangan natin. Samantalang sa disadvantage naman po, hindi naman po siya ganun ka-afford nating mga tao dahil syempre may pagka-pricey din po yung presyo nyon. Tsaka po yung may mga lugar po kasi na hindi naman laging may araw. Hindi kapag po gano'n, hindi po masyado applicable po yung solar energy sa kanila.
Okay, so talagang may mga disadvantages at advantages. So number one disadvantage nito, may pumipigil talaga sa atin para mag-harness, which is the businesses or the political factors, which is the government. Ayaw kasi nila ng mga libre dyan. Siyempre, gobyerno yan. So, yung mga businesses din, like Meralco, Batelec, mawawalan din sila ng source of income nila kapag nag-solar energy na lahat. So for now, hindi pa talaga possible na lahat tayo magkaroon ng solar energy and may pagka-pricey pa nga talaga to. Another disadvantage kasi is weather dependent din to. Minsan may mga lugar na rainy season, maulan, may mga nag-i-snow. So paano sila mag-harness ng solar energy? Unless may magsusupply sila. May magsusupply sa kanila na solar energy na galing sa ibang lugar. Okay? So ang advantages po natin sa solar energy, ang solar energy is immensely abundant. So ibig sabihin, available to for everyone anywhere. Okay? So halos lahat naman ng places sa Earth tinatamaan ng sun's light, ng sun's radiation. Okay? The solar radiation. Yun nga lang, may mga places na hindi ganun tinatamaan. So, hindi talaga pantay-pantay ang pagtama ng solar radiation dito sa ating Earth. Okay? So, isa pang advantage, renewable to. As you can see dun sa PN junction, merong path yung electron. Diba? Iisa yung path niya. Kaya nagkakaroon ng isang path dahil dun sa PN junction. Okay? Merong electric field na nangyayari dun. Which is, kasi may positive and negative side. Diba sa magnet, ganun din yun. Siguro naman, kayo ba ay nagkaroon ng experiment or discussion about magnet sa EE nyo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
po,
yun,
sir.
example yun ng electric field. So doon sa magnet, kunyari, ipatong nyo sa typewriting na puti. Ipatong nyo sa typewriting na puti yung magnet, tapos buhusan nyo ng buhangin. Yung iba didikit sa magnet, yung iba mag-i-spread around dun sa magnet. At yung kung makikita nyo yun yung nag-spread, merong shape silang mabubuo. Yung shape na nabuo, yun yung electromagnetic field. So yun yung dinadaluyan ng ating electrons para iisa lang yung way nila. Kasi kung wala yung electromagnetic field, kalat yung pag-ibo ng electrons natin. Or in some cases, yung nakita nyo, yung sa hindi nga efficient, bumabalik lang dun sa pinanggalingan niya, nagiging dead cells na. Nawawala na yung energy ng photon. So kailangan niya natin ng PN junction para maipat ang ating electrons. Okay? So here are some examples of the top 5 solar power plants in the world. So 2 are found in India, 2 are found in China, and 1 in Egypt. So number 1 and top 1 natin can be found in India, Rajasthan, which is the Badla Solar Park. Then our top 2 is the Huanghai Hydropower Hainan Solar Park in China or in Qinghai Province in China. Then ang top 3 natin is found in Karnataka, India, which is the Pavagada Solar Park. Then the fourth one is the Aswan Governorate found in Egypt in Aswan Governorate in Egypt, which is the Benban Solar Park. Then our top 5 is the Tengger Desert Solar Park, which can be found in Ningxia, China. So yan ang example natin. So yung makikita nyong image dito, itong 5 to, ang tawag dito sa PV system na to is grid connected. Okay? So isa yon sa type ng ating PV systems or photovoltaic systems. Okay? So meron tayong 4 which we will be discussing later. Yes, may nagtaas ba ng kamay?
Pindot lang po, sir.
Yes po, Mr. Castillo.
Sir, out of curiosity po, pwede po bang maging disadvantage ng solar power yung it takes a lot of land po. Parang it covers malawak na lupain para po makapag-set up para sa malakihang solar power plant po.
Oo. Pwedeng disadvantage yan. Kasi saan tayo kukuha? We will take up a large amount of space. Minsan yung mga greedy people, hahanap yan. Mamaya may mga environmental issues pang mangyari. Yung mga ganong cases, di ba? Pero actually, pwede naman daw sa Sahara Desert, yun nga lang, you will need a large amount of money, syempre. Para makapag-contribute doon. Para ma-establish yung solar panel na yun, para ma-power ang ating Earth. Doon na lang tayo mag-rely. Okay? Okay po ba yung answer ko?
Yes po, sir. Thank you po.
Any questions pa po? Wala na? Okay. So proceed tayo ulit. So ito again, advantages and disadvantages. Na-discuss ko na naman to. Babasahin ko na lang ulit. So solar is renewable energy source. Yung sinabi ko. And it is also immensely abundant where everyone or anyone can find solar energy everywhere, anywhere. And also, itong number 3, solar technologies are getting more efficient. Actually, pwede din to sa disadvantages. Kasi nga, ang solar technology natin, hindi pa nga ganun ka-efficient. So, hindi pa kataas yung porsyento nating nakukuhang energy. Yung efficiency niya. Okay? Ang advantage kasi dito, we are gaining more knowledge about solar energy. Are getting more efficient din yung technology natin. So, ibig sabihin, pa-improve tayo ng pa-improve. Yun nga lang, yung disadvantage niya, hindi pa ganun ka-efficient. Then, the fourth one is the solar life cycle generates minimal greenhouse gas emissions. Okay? So again, sabi ko kanina, hindi totally zero. Minimal lang. Unlike dun sa mga may fossil fuels, kerosene. Diba? So disadvantage again, solar energy is still expensive for a households. So hindi talaga lahat afford, lalo na tayo dito sa Philippines. Siguro meron kayong may makikitang may naka-solar power, may yaman yun. Actually, doon sa BSU, doon sa labas ng BSU, meron. Nung nagklase kami sa room 212 ata, or 208. Merong nasa labas na may bahay na naka-solar panel. Di siya na. Tapos, solar energy is weather dependent. So, again, hindi naman natin masasabing araw-araw, tuwing umaga, maaraw. Minsan cloudy, minsan bigla na lang uulan. So how are we going to harness a lot of solar energy during that time? Okay? Meron din tayong tinatawag na seasonal. Yung mga seasons natin, which is the equinox and the kalimutan ko yung isa. Letter S. Ano nga?
Solstice po, sir.
Yun, no, solstice. Okay. Yung equinox at solstice, nakadepende pa dun yung ating matatanggap na solar radiation. Okay? Then the solar power plants are not the most environment-friendly option. Kasi nga, nakaka-destroy din yan ng environment. Magtatayo ka, mag-excavate ka dyan. Madaming masisira. Minsan, gigibayin na naman yung mga forests para lang makapagtayo. Mga ganong cases. So, photovoltaic system converts solar radiation into electricity directly. So, a photovoltaic system is made up of photovoltaic solar cells. At itong solar cells natin, it is made up of silicon. So minsan hindi lang siya silicon. Minsan may nakahalo diyang boron. Minsan nga gold pa eh. So an individual PV cell is capable of generating 1 or 2 watts. Pero dun sa video natin, ang sinabi is 0.5 watts, kalahating watts lang. Bakit kaya 1 or 2 ang sinabi dito? Kasi nakadepende pa yan sa materials na ginamit mo sa solar cell mo. Approximately depends on the type of materials used. So depende talaga yan sa materials nyo. So minsan talaga may mga mahal na solar panel, meron namang mura. So depende talaga yan sa mga materials na ginamit doon. So for a higher output, PV cells can be connected together to form higher power modules. So in the market, the maximum power capacity of a module is 1 kilowatts, even though higher capacity is possible to manufacture. So bakit kaya 1 kilowatts lang? Kasi nga, under development stage pa lang tayo. Dine-develop pa lang. Inaaral pa lang natin. So hopefully, tataas pa yan with our improved knowledge na. Improved technology din. So depending upon the power plant capacity or based on the power generation, group of modules can be connected together to form an array. So itong PV array, yung PV array, lang yan? Dikit-dikit na solar panels. Okay? Ayan, yung PV array is dikit-dikit lang ng mga PV solar panels. Yung nakita nyo dun sa top 5 solar power plants, yun. PV array yun. Which is, ang type ng PV system niya is grid-connected PV system. At yung grid type na yun, commercially yun ginagamit. Para siyang Meralco. Siya na yung nagsusupply sa mga cities, sa countries, or sa towns, mga ganon. So here's an image of how a solar panels work. So the sun will shine and the PV system natin or yung solar panels absorb, then we have the PN junction. So na-explain na naman to dun sa video. So here is an image of an installed solar panels. Naka-install siya sa roof. Pwede siya sa roof or dito sa ground system natin. Sa ground lang. Pag ground siya naka-install, ang tawag is ground system. So itong ground system na to, ito yung ginagamit sa grid connected. Yun dun sa mga solar, top 5 solar power plants na nakita nyo. Naka-ground system yan. Tapos ito namang naka-install sa roof, may tawag din dito. It is a type of PV system din. Ang type niya is grid-tied solar system. So another type of PV system is the grid-type solar system, which is minsan pang-household lang yon or pang-business, yung mga nasa building lang. Okay? So the sun provides free energy, i-absorb natin yan or i-harness yan ng solar panel. Then yung solar panel na yon makagawa yung DC electricity. i-convert yung na-absorb na solar radiation into DC electricity. Ngayon, meron na tayong DC electricity. How are we going to use it in our household? Paano natin mapapagana yan sa ating appliances? So, kailangan natin ng inverter. At itong inverter na to, it converts DC into AC. To power for your home. And if may inverter tayo, kailangan natin ng electric meter. Ito, electrical meter. So there are two types of electrical meter, namely the standard and the digital. So later we will be discussing it. So next is our monitor. Itong monitor na to, it is just to gather data. For gathering data and analytics for your system, for the solar panel. Para updated ka lang dyan sa yung solar panel. Para alam mo kung kailangan na ba ng maintenance o hindi. So bakit kailangan ng maintenance ng solar panel? Kasi nga hindi pa efficient siya. Hindi pa ganun kataas yung efficiency niya. At kita nyo sa video, merong electrons na pwedeng ma-dead cell na lang. Pwedeng ma-dead yung energy niya kapag bumalik lang at hindi tumaan dun sa path na binibigay ng PN junction. So kailangan talaga ng maintenance pa. So ito ang block diagram of a PV system. Ito yung pinaka-common na block diagram. So not all merong battery. Ito lang yung common. Okay? So unang-una, the most important part of the block diagram is the photovoltaic array. Ito. So why is it the most important? Kasi nandyan yung ating mga solar panels. So it is the one that absorbs the solar radiation or the solar energy. Then once we absorb, if ang PV system nyo ay may battery, ilalagay doon. I-store doon para magamit din natin sa gabi, sa kung kailan walang araw, that kind of cases. Yun lang yung role ng battery storage natin. Then we have the power conditioning circuits or the electric circuits. So nandiyan na yung mga inverter, electric meters, safety switches, fuse boxes, nandiyan na. So here are the 4 types of PV system. So we have first the grid-connected solar PV system. Ito yung nakita nyong picture dun sa top 5 solar power plants. Kung saan ang short information for grid-connected, siya nga yung nagsusupply nasa mga commercially, sa mga cities, sa towns, or sa countries if possible. Then we have the stand-alone. So stand-alone, from the word alone itself, ibig sabihin hindi niya minsan kailangan ng battery. Or kung meron man siyang battery, maliit lang yung capacity ng battery niya. Okay? Then we have the PV hybrid system. From the word hybrid naman, ibig sabihin there is a combination na nangyari. So ibig sabihin dito sa PV hybrid system, hindi lang PV system, hindi lang solar panel ang meron tayo dito. Minsan, kinakabitan siya pa ng isa pang source of energy. So it could be diesel generator, turbine, steam turbines, mga ganon, or wind turbines, okay? Then for number 4, we had the grid-tied solar system. So ito yung picture yun, naka-install yung solar panels natin sa mga bahay. So ito yung affordable, more commonly used kapag masikip yung ating gustong pag-installan. Like sa subdivision, dikit-dikit ang bahay. Saan ka mag-i-install? Hindi naman pwede sa baba. Hindi naman pwede sa kalsada kasi obstruction yun. Diga? So, i-install natin sa rooftop. So, mga ganong cases. At ang pinapower niya lang is ang iyong bahay. Sariling household mo lang yung pinapower. Ito kasing sa grid-connected, commercially, pang maramihang bahay yung pinapower niya. Okay po? So dito muna tayo kay grid-connected. So the primary component of the grid-connected PV system is the power conditioning unit or the PCU. So ang role lang na to is to convert the DC power produced by the PV array into AC power para magamit ng ng mga consumers. So ang demand nila, para na kasi silang Meralco or Batelec. Sila na yung nagsusupply. So, kailangan lang ng PCU para ma-convert tong DC power into AC power. So, again, a great example nito is yung nakita nyo, yung mga solar power plants. Para na silang Meralco. Okay? Or Batelec. So yun lang yung grid connected. So here is a simplified image. So ganito nagwo-work ang ating grid connected. Absorb lang siya ng solar radiation or solar irradiance or solar irradiation. Same lang yung definition nila. Pero sa topic to, malalaman nyo kung ano yung pinagkaiba nila. Yung definition same pero yung unit hindi. Okay? So dito, absorb lang yan ng solar panels. Then we have the inverters or yung mga electrical components para ma-convert yung DC na na-absorb into AC para distribute sa commercially, sa mga nangangailangang areas. Okay? So here are the basic components. When we say basic components, hindi lang siya para kay grid connected. Pwede siya sa other types of PV system. So here yung mga malimit, meron lahat ang ating PV system. So we have the solar panels. Ito yung hindi talaga mawawala. Solar panel. Hindi yan mawawala sa kahit anong PV system. Kasi yan yung nag-harness ng solar radiation natin. Okay? So a device that converts light from the sun, which is composed of particles of energy called the photons. So photons yung nakukuha niya. Okay? Then we have the inverter. Again, ang inverter natin, ang role niya is to transform DC2 into AC. So there are two types of inverters, which is the string inverters and the micro inverters. Okay? Next, we have the electricity meter. So ang electricity meter, tagaan lang yan, measure lang yan ng consumption mo ng electricity sa solar panel or kung ilan na yung na-i-store mong kung ilan na yung i-store mong energy. So yun lang yun. So there are two types, which is the standard service meters and the digital electric meters. So ano ba ang pinagkaiba nito? Actually, the same lang yan. Parehas lang yan na nagme-measure. Ito nga lang standard service meters, odometer type. So ito yung lumang version ng Metro. Actually, nawawala na nga din to itong standard service meters. Pumupunta na tayo kasi sa digital age, which is nag-a-advance na tayo sa technology. Kaya umuuso na yung mga digital electric meters. So share ko lang may kwento ako dito sa mga metrong to. So sa inyo ba, meron kayong yung lumang metro pa ba sa inyo? Lumang metro pa ba ang sa inyong bahay? Okay. So may kwento ako diyan. Alam niyo yung minamagnet yung metro? Alam niyo, doon sa mga pa. Alam mo, siya. May daya yan. So, again, siguro mga 2016, 2017, nung napasok pa ako dyan sa BSU, meron kaming kaklase, nagbo-board dyan sa labas ng BSU, sa may Pluto. So, yung metro nila, yung luma, yung may odometer. So, ang ginagawa nila, kinakabitan nila ng magnet. Bakit nila kinakabitan ng magnet? Para hindi umuibo yung metro nila. So, dinadaya nila ang Meralco. So, ang nangyayari, after a month, pag magre-reading na ang Meralco, ang binabayaran lang nila is 10 pesos. Alam nyo yung minamagnet? 10 pesos na lang yung binabayaran nila. Tapos, nareklamo sila nung kapitbahay nila. Kasi yung sa kapitbahay nila, ang binabayaran nilang kuryente sa Meralco, around 2,000 plus or 3,000. Sinasabi nila, nireklamo yung mga kaklase kayo, sabi, ninanakawan daw sila ng kuryente. Kasi bakit 10 piso lang yung binabayaran? Ganun. Pero hindi nila alam, minagnet lang nila yung odometer. So share ko lang. So kung gusto nyo dayain ng Meralco, kabitan nyo ng magnet.
May minimum na ngayon, sir.
Ay, meron na ba? Ayun lang, wala na, hindi na madadaya. So, okay, moving on. So, ang next nating, ito is the fuse boxes or AC breaker panel and fuses. So, siguro naman, alam nyo na yung mga fuse box. Taga-turn off lang yan. Parang switch lang yan ng ilaw. Okay? Ganun lang yan. Then, we have the safety switches and the cabling. So, itong safety switches na to, dalawa ang purpose niya. Ang unang purpose niya is for safety features. So, every equipment, lahat ng equipment, mapaanong equipment pa yan, kailangan yan ng safety features. hindi man naka-install doon sa equipment, may safety procedures naman. So hindi dapat nawawala ang safety. According nga sa company, sa mga company, lagi naman sa lahat ng mga industry, safety is your number one priority. Then the second purpose ng safety switches natin and cabling is for maintenance. For maintenance din to. So again, safety and maintenance. So bakit kailangan ng maintenance ang solar panel? Again, hindi pa siya ganun ka-efficient mag-absorb ng solar energy. Some are being reflected back, some are yung bumabalik ulit yung electrons and nawawala na yung energy niya. So kailangan ng maintenance talaga. So yun. So yan yung mga basic components ng PV system. Then we have the standalone. The second type of our PV system is the standalone or the off-grid solar PV system. So there are two types of standalone. So we have yung walang battery and yung isa with battery. So dito muna tayo sa with battery. So a great example nito is your calculator. Yung calculator na may solar panel, meron pa ba nun? Hindi ko alam kung meron pa eh. Yung akin kasing calcu, wala na. Sa inyo, meron pa ba?
Meron pa.
Okay, yun. Sige. Parang nung bumili akong calcu, wala na yung may solar panel. Anyway, so yun. Example nito, yung calculator na may solar panel. So in case na maubos yung battery ng sa calculator or ma-deadbat, magagamit nyo pa rin yan, itapat nyo lang sa araw. Or flashlightan nyo, gagana yan. Kasi nga photons yung kailangan natin. Ang photons naman is light eh. So any light pwede. Okay? Siguro ang hindi lang gagana dyan is ultraviolet na ilaw. Pero anyway, sa second topic pa yon. So standalone PV system with the battery storage naman, again, nagkaroon lang ng battery and yung battery dito, maliit lang yung capacity. Okay? Bakit maliit lang ang capacity niya? Kasi hindi naman pangmatagalan ang kailangan dito. Stand-alone lang naman siya. Pangmaliit ang appliance lang yan or equipment. So example nito, yung sa stand-alone PV system with battery storage is yung mga street lamps sa BSU. Yung may mga solar panel na street lamps. Gumagana pa ba yun? Hindi ko na kasi nakikita eh. Sa mga dumadaan dyan sa gabi, gumagana pa ba yun?
Yung iba po sir ay nagana, may iba pong hindi.
Okay, ayun. Yung iba hindi nagana, ibig sabihin, patay na yung mga doon, electrons, dead cells na. Hindi kasi na may maintenance. So yun, another example kung bakit kailangan ng maintenance ng solar panel. So alam niyo na kung bakit hindi na nagana dahil doon sa video kanina, di ba? So ayun, example yun. So once na nawala ang araw, mabubuhay siya kasi may light sensor yung solar panel na street lamp natin doon. Sa BSU, may light sensor lang yun. So mabubuhay siya. As you can see naman, wala ng araw. Saan siya kumukuha? Sa battery. Then yung battery na yon, maliit lang yung capacity. Siguro pang mga hours or days lang yung itatagal nun kung walang araw. Pag bagyuhan, di naman yun 24/7 buhay. Mawawala na rin yung mauubos na din pala yung battery niya doon. So here's an image kung paano ulit gumagana. Again, absorb lang ulit. May mga electric components pa rin yan. Then, ipapower na agad yung ating appliance na kailangan. Or yung kailangan ng kuryente. So here are some additional components. So batteries, syempre, storage lang yan. Parang lang yan. Doon lang i-store yung mga hindi pa kailangan na kuryente. And if you have battery, then we are going to have charge controller. So para saan tong charge controller? Ito ay for safety features. Itong charge controller na to, pang yan? Para iwas overcharging ng battery. Kung may battery ka, kailangan ito para hindi ma-overcharge yung battery. Kasi once na na-overcharge yung battery nyo, lolobo yan, sasabog. Siguro naman, nakakita na kayo ng lumolobong battery. Then yun, may tendency yung sumabog. Okay? Then we have the PV hybrid system. Our third type is the PV hybrid system. From the word hybrid, ibig sabihin combination. So ito, example nito is sa mga planta. So question ko sa inyo, meron ba ditong mga taga-Tabangaw or malapit sa Tabangaw? Wala?
Meron po, sir.
Alam mo yung sa Shell, yung may solar panel doon, di ba?
Yes po, meron
Ayun.
po.
Example yan sa PV hybrid. Actually, kaya may PV hybrid kasi ang main source nila is sa solar panels. Bakit pa sila magbabayad sa Meralco ay kung pwede namang sila na lang yung kung mag-harness ng solar energy, yung kuryente nila na gagamitin dun sa plantang yun, di ba? Libre yun eh. So nagpa-install na lang sila. Kaso, yun nga lang, again, ang solar panels natin is weather dependent. Paano na lang kung bamagyo ng isang linggo? Di wala silang makaharness na solar energy. Walang gagaan ng equipments or yung operation nila titigil. Hindi naman pwedeng tumigil ang operation dahil lang doon. Kasi once na tumigil ang operation sa planta, malaking loss sa kanila yon. At kapag malaking loss, malaking pera ang mawawala. So kailangan nila ng backup. So yung backup na to, it can either be diesel generator, wind turbines, or biomass, or any other renewable or non-renewable energy source. Okay? So pang-backup yung isa. At itong dalawang to, itong PV system na to, pati yung backup na yon, nag-i-store ng energy yan sa isang battery. Yung backup na yon, pwede siyang mag-store sa battery, pwede ring hindi. Pwedeng diretso agad sa mga kailangan, sa mga demands, yung kailangan ng kuryente. Okay? So, ito yung block diagram ng ating PV hybrid system. So, unang-una muna ay dito. Sa solar PV array, then we are going to go to the charge controller. Again, bakit may charge controller? Kasi ito ay may battery. So, ito yung unang-unang kinukuhanan ng energy nila. Sa solar panels muna. Kasi ito yung libre. Then mag-charge siya ng battery. Yung battery dito, kung i-compare mo sa standalone, ito, malaki talaga yung capacity. Kasi kung yung sa planta ang ginagamit, maramihang equipment doon ang ginagamit, malaking mga operation ang ginagawa, di ba? So, kailangan talaga ng malaking kuryente or you need a large amount of power to be consumed. Then, i-store dito, then inverter, then yun, gagamitin na ulit. So, paano na lang kung mawala to yung source of solar radiation natin? Kunyari, hindi sumikat ang araw. So, we need to have backup. So, we need diesel generator or wind turbines or yung grid supplies pa. Itong grid supplies na to, yan yung mga Meralco, Batelec, yung nagsusupply ng kuryente through the use of kung ano man ang ginagamit nila. Then, kung meron tayong ganito, we need to have a rectifier. Ang rectifier yung mag-charge dito sa battery bank natin. So, parang charge controller lang yan. Okay? Ito. So, ang solar rectifier system, it is powered by the rectifier by AC source. So, ang role niya is to convert this into a low voltage DC naman. Okay? So, the solar rectifier features low maintenance, lightweight design, and optional remote monitoring. So, may monitoring din pwedeng mangyari dyan. Okay? So, used in two different ways, with or without a transformer. Then, we have the last type, which is the grid-tied solar system. So, itong grid-tied solar system, dalawa yan. Pwedeng may battery, pwedeng wala. Okay? So, malimit naman sa mga household, ang kinukuha ay yung may battery. Babayad ka na lang ng konti, dadagdag ka na lang. May battery ka na. So, itong grid-tied solar system, ito, for those who don't have spaces or finances available. When we say don't have enough spaces, again, yung sinample ko kanina. Kunyari yung nasa subdivision. Di ba, dikit-dikit ang bahay doon. So, yung mga dikit-dikit ang bahay, again, hindi ka naman pwedeng magtayo na lang ng solar panel sa lupa. Kasi obstruction yun. Sisikip lalo ang area nyo. So, ang ginagawa nila, they are installing it on their rooftop. Okay? Then, it can either have a battery or without battery. So kung wala kang battery, di dapat may isa ka pang source of energy. Kasi paano pagdating ng gabi, di wala ka ng source of energy or source of power. So kaya ang malimit na binibili nila or yung ginagamit nila is the hybrid solar system. Itong hybrid solar system na to, yan lang yung may battery. Grid tied pa rin naman, nilagyan lang ng battery. Para makapag-store pa rin ang iyong solar panels. Para makapag-store ng energy. Okay? So ito, installed in the roof. Then, it will power your appliances na. Tapos itong grid, kaya may grid dito. Bakit kaya may grid? Alam niyo ba yung bumibili ang Meralco sa mga naka-solar panels? Alam niyo yun?
Yes po.
Okay. So, bakit? Sige, tanong ko sa inyo, recitation. Bakit sa tingin niyo bumibili ang Meralco sa mga naka-solar panels? Bakit sila bumibili? And any idea lang? Or short idea? Sige po, Mr. Melo.
Try lang po sir, idea lang po. Yung pong nai-star po na galing po sa solar ay sobra po sa use sa isang household. So, nabebenta po nila dun sa power provider po.
Okay, tama yun. So, another one. Isa pang idea, may hinahanap pa akong keyword. Pero tama yun. Meron pa ba? May idea pa ba? Yes po, Mr. Luigi Castillo.
Idea lang po. Siguro po para din po ma-lower po yung cost po ng electricity po kasi meron pong extra provider po na pinaprovide po yung solar panel.
Okay. Sige nga po, Mr. Medina.
Sir, baka po, idea lang din po. Baka po kaya po binibili ng Meralco po is para po kagaya nga po ng sabi, since renewable po, magagamit po ulit nila ng panibago po yung kuryente po.
Okay, yun. Actually, tama talaga yun. Bumibili ang Meralco. Ang pinaka-idea kasi niyan, ang population natin, pataas naman yan, di ba? Hindi naman sa paunti ang population natin eh. So yung population natin sa pataas, sa pagdami ng population, sa pagdami ng demand. And sa pagdami ng demand, kailangan sa Meralco, madami din ang supplies nila ng kuryente. Paano na lang kung mauubusan sila ng supply? So doon nangyayari yung mga blackouts or brownout. Hindi na kayang supplyan ng Meralco yung mga consumers, yung mga demands. Kulang sila sa demands, sa supplies pala. So kaya ang ginagawa nila doon sa mga naka-solar panel, bumibili sila. Actually, diniscuss ito sa amin sa PPD. Minsan hindi talaga kayang i-provide ng electric companies yung mga demands kasi padami tayo ng padami eh. Padami ng padami yung population. So they need to have large supplies. So they need to be resourceful kung saan sila makakakuha pa ng mga supply. So yung iba bumibili sa mga may solar panel. So ganong cases. Wait lang, charge ko lang laptop. Okay. May PPD ba kayo?
Wala pa po, sir.
Ay, sa 4th year pa pala yun. Tama ba? 4th year pa?
Sa summer pa.
Summer ba? Pero anyway, maganda kung i-discuss sa inyo yun. Then that is all for our first topic. So proceed tayo sa second topic. Short lang din yun. Wait lang . Buksan ko lang yung second topic natin. Okay, yan. Kita ba?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So second topic natin, fundamentals of solar collection and thermal conversion naman. So dito, we have the solar radiation, we have properties of semiconductors for solar cell, and we have the photovoltaic for performance and energy management of PV modules. So sa ngayon, for this day, solar radiation lang muna. Kung matapos natin, di goods. Kung hindi, ipagpapatuloy natin next meeting. So start tayo sa definition. Again, solar radiation. So sa solar radiation, often called the solar resource or just the sunlight. Or solar irradiation or solar irradiance or actually madami pang tawag dyan. So a general term for electromagnetic radiation emitted by the sun. So it is the transfer of energy via electromagnetic waves that travel at the speed of light. So the velocity of light in a vacuum is approximately 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. So the time it takes light from the sun to reach Earth is approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So under this topic, definition ng solar radiation natin and some terminologies that is involved in solar radiation. Okay? So it is also the input power source of PV generators. So yan yung hina-harness natin sa PV system. Solar radiation. So the sun emits electromagnetic radiation as a black body having a surface temperature of about 6,000 Kelvin. So this is because of the nuclear reaction running in it where the sun is converting hydrogen into helium. Excuse me. So basic principle. Ito naman, parang na-review na rin natin sa topic 1. So ang principle lang ng solar radiation. So the amount of solar radiation that reaches any one spot on the Earth's surface varies accordingly to geographic location. So ano tong geographic location? So tayo, ang Philippines, malapit yan sa equator or nasa equator. So ibig sabihin, mas marami tayong nahaharness na solar radiation. At sa atin, unang tumatama yung radiation. What do I mean by unang tumatama sa radiation? Imagine this is Earth. Sorry na lang kung pangit ang drawing. Then ito ang sun natin. Yan. So yung radiation, straight line yan. Dito ang unang point of contact. Then yung iba, ganun. Dito, saka pa lang tatama. Although, minutes lang or seconds ang pagitan, pero ang unang point of contact yung dito talaga. So, ganun yung geographic location. Then, we have time of day. So, time of day, hindi naman 24/7 mayroong araw. Sa umaga lang hanggang tanghali or hanggang sunset, mayroong solar radiation. Sa umaga, abundant yan, immensely abundant. Sa tanghali, ganun pa rin. Sa sunset, konti na lang. Sa gabi, wala na. Then we have the season. So here is the equinox and the solstice, which will be discussed later. Then the local landscape. Ang sa local landscape naman, imagine yung area nyo surrounded by mountain ranges. Kung surrounded yan by mountain ranges, yung area nyo, ibig sabihin, konti lang yung tinatamaan ng sikat ng araw. Kasi nabablock ng mga bundok. Diba? Yung anong cases. So, and then the last one, we have the local weather. So again, ang solar panel natin or the PV system or solar energy is dependent on weather. So paano na lang uli ko pag naging cloudy, naging rainy, or is in some places or in some other countries may mga snow. So ganun. Hindi na tayo nakakapag-harness ng solar radiation during those weathers. So because the Earth is round, the Sun strikes at the surface at different angles. So ranging from 0 to 90 degrees. Then when the Sun's rays are vertical, the Earth's surface gets all the energy possible. So the more slanted the Sun's rays are, the longer they travel through the atmosphere. So becoming more scattered and diffuse. So itong scattered and diffuse, we will have a discussion about this later. Nandyan yung dahilan kung bakit color blue ang ating sky. Kung bakit paghapon, kapag sunset, nagiging red, orange, or yellow. Kung bakit paggabi, color itim lang ang ating sky. Yan, nandyan yung explanation yan. So because the Earth is round, the frigid polar regions never get a high sun. And because of the tilted axis of rotation, these areas receives no sun at all during a part of year. So hindi lang palagi, may times na hindi talaga sa isang taon nasisikatan yung places na yun. Ano yung mga places na yun? So again, imagine this is Earth. Ang ating axis of rotation dyan, ito. Hindi siya straight na ganito. Di ba? So meron talagang places or other countries na mas matagal ang araw, mas matagal ang gabi. Kasi ganito ang ating rotation of Earth. So yung ibang part dito, kunyari yung mga nasa southern hemisphere, pinaka-southern or we can say South Pole, hindi talaga tinatamaan ng sun sometimes. Okay? So yun lang yung explanation dito. Anyway, so diffuse and direct solar radiation. So as sunlight passes through the atmosphere, some of it is absorbed, scattered, and reflected. So there are three types. So again, sinabi ko nga kanina sa first topic natin, ang Earth, hindi 100% na-absorb ang solar radiation. Some are being reflected back, some are being scattered. So ito ang nagre-reflect dyan ay yung mga nakalist dito. So there are air molecules, water vapor, clouds, dust pollutants, forest fires, and volcanoes. So actually, sa lahat yan, sa absorbed, scattered, and reflected. Itong mga scatter na to, number 1 dyan yung mga air molecules. Example natin is yung sky. So kunyari again, sige. Ay, may video nga pala dyan. Hindi ko na lang isasample. Panoodin nyo na lang. So this is called diffuse solar radiation. The solar radiation that reaches the Earth's surface without being diffuse is called direct beam solar radiation. Then the sum of the two is called global solar radiation. So measurement. So why do we have measurement in solar radiation? Unang-una kasi nga, we are still studying solar energy. So we need to measure the solar radiation. And we have equipments in measuring solar radiation. So radiation data for solar, electric, or PV systems are often represented as kilowatt-hour per square meter. Or ito ata yung tinatawag na itong kilowatt-hour per square meter solar irradiation ata. Then dito sa direct estimates of solar energy may also be expressed as watts per meter square. Yung watts per meter square naman is solar irradiance, if I'm not mistaken. Or vice versa, kung nagkabaliktad. Pero mamaya may ano dyan. So radiation data for solar water heating and space heating systems are usually represented as BTU per feet square. Ano? So these are the equipments or the equipments that are used to measure the radiation here on Earth. So we have the pyrheliometer and the pyranometer. So difference of the two, atong pyranometer natin, ang mine-measure niyan is radiation worldwide. Again, radiation worldwide ang pyranometer. Then sa pyrheliometer, ang mine-measure niyan is yung radiation at that instant moment at that specific area. So ito yung watts per meter square. Actually ito din naman. Well, anyway, ito yung sa specific area at that specific time. Kunyari, sa pwesto nyo, gusto nyo agad malaman na solar radiation dyan, ito. Yun lang yun. Kung worldwide ang gusto nyo, ito. Pyranometer. Okay? So that's the difference between the two. So solar radiation, visible light has a wavelength. So itong wavelength na to, yan yung nai-scatter. Yan yung nadi-diffuse. Of between 0.4 to 0.71 micrometers. Okay? So again, itong wavelength yan yung nasa-i-scatter. Actually, yung sa sky, kaya color blue yan. Kasi color blue wavelengths yung nai-scatter. Kaya blue ang sky natin. Then itong yung mga kulay ng wavelength, yan from yung color ng rainbow actually. Again, yung color ng wavelength is the color of the rainbows. So paano natin malalaman yung color ng wavelengths? Alam niyo yung crystal, yung kapag naaarawan yung crystal may rainbow na lumalabas. Alam niyo ba 'yon? Or hindi? Yun, alam nyo. So, yun, wavelengths yung nakikita natin doon, yung kulay ng wavelengths. Kaya rainbow yung kulay. Kaya minsan, sa atin, may nakikita tayong rainbow, di ba? Diyan sa mga sky. Wavelengths na yun. So, meron tayong red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then the violet. Nagre-range yan from infrared to ultraviolet. Infrared or red being the most visible to the human eye, then ultraviolet or violet, yan yung pinakamalabo or minsan hindi natin nakikita. Okay? Actually, minsan lang din natin makita yun eh. Okay? So, siguro konting information lang kung bakit blue ang sky natin kasi meron tayong air molecules or yung sa atmosphere natin, may mga molecules dyan, doon tumatama yung mga wavelengths ng sunlight. At ang tinatamaan na wavelength doon during morning is the blue-colored blue wavelength. So, parang nai-stuck siya doon sa sky, sa araw. Kaya color blue ang ating langit. Then, pagdating naman ng hapon, so maiiba ang pwesto ng sun sa sunset, may iba ang pwesto ng sun, nagkakaroon ng angle. Yung angle natin, makaka-epekto yan sa tamaan ng sunlight, di ba? So yung sa sunlight natin, ang tatamaan na niya is either red, yellow, or orange na. Kaya nagiging red, yellow, orange sa hapon. So yun yung explanation kung bakit nag-iiba ang kulay ng sky natin. Then, pagdating naman sa gabi, color black naman yan. So bakit black? Actually, ang definition ng black is the absence of color. Absence of color, or absence of light. So absence of light, ibig sabihin kung pag walang light, walang wavelength. Kaya itim lang pag gabi. Okay? So kaya kung makikita nyo sa outer space, yan? Itim ang outer space natin. Kasi nga, sa outer space natin, vacuum yun. Wala namang molecules doon na freely moving around. So, walang magbablock ng wavelengths. So, walang magdi-disperse, walang mag-i-scatter ng wavelengths, kaya black lang sa outer space. Then, dito naman sa atin, paggabi, wala naman tumatamang liwanag or sunlight paggabi sa atin. Kaya black ang kulay. So solar radiation incident outside of the Earth's atmosphere is called extraterrestrial radiation. On average, the extraterrestrial irradiance is 1,353 watts per meter square. So this value varies by positive, negative 3% as the Earth orbits the Sun. So here are some terminologies that are involved in solar radiation. So we have the solar constant. So it is the energy from the sun per unit time received on a unit area of surface, perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of the radiation at mean Earth-Sun distance outside of the atmosphere. Okay? Then keynotes natin, kung makikita nyo, itong distance ng sun natin sa distance ng Earth natin, may measurement yan. We call it 1 astronomical unit. Ito yon. Then ang conversion yan into meters is approximately equal to 1.496 times 10 to the 11th meters. Okay? Then the diameter of the sun, it is 1.39 times 10 to the 9th meters, or 8.64 times 10 to the 5th miles. So we have the diameter of the Earth, 1.27 times 10 to the 7th meters. Okay? Moving on, we have the solar irradiance, solar irradiation. So solar radiation, solar irradiance, and solar irradiation, they can be used interchangeably. Ibig sabihin, same lang yung definition nila. Ito. The term irradiance, irradiation, and radiation are often used interchangeably. Again, ibig sabihin, ang definition nila parehas lang. Saan sila nagkaiba? Dito. So, pinagkaiba lang nila is yung units. So, irradiance is the power of the solar radiation per unit area. Okay? Then, solar radiation, it involves time. Involves time by, again, unit radiation per unit area para yan, pero yung power na nare-receive during a time. Kunyari, during that 1 hour, a minute, seconds, yung mga ganun. Again, sa unit lang sila nagkaiba. Definition, the same. Then we have the solar radiation, atmospheric effects on incoming solar irradiation. In this image, pinapakita lang na ang solar radiation, again, hindi 100% natin na-absorb. Some are being scattered, some are being reflected back sa outer space. So the Earth is a planet with an atmosphere and is largely transparent to the incoming solar radiation. So there are constituents in the atmosphere which prevent some kind of radiation from reaching the surface, such as ozone, which stops the ultraviolet. A fair proportion of the Earth is covered by clouds, which reflect a lot of sun's radiation and thus affecting the surface temperature. So, ang nakaka-apekto pala sa ating planet, sa temperature ng ating planet or the Earth, is the clouds. So may cycle yan. So kapag mainit na mainit, di ba may mga hot season tayo and cold season. So kapag mainit na mainit, yung water mag-evaporate, magiging clouds. Then kapag naman marami ng clouds, malamig na, mabigat na yung clouds, uulan na. Thus, kaya clouds talaga yung nakaka-apekto ng ating surface temperature. So the process of scattering occurs when a small particle and gas molecules diffuse part of the incoming solar radiation in random direction without any alteration to ito ay wavelength. Okay? Itong lambda symbol na to, wavelength yan. Wavelength of the radiation at its peak that is emitted. Okay? Again, ang definition nito is the wavelength of the radiation at its peak that is being emitted of the electromagnetic energy. Scattering does, however, reduce the amount of incoming radiation reaching the Earth's surface. So a significant proportion of scattered shortwave solar radiation is redirected back to space. So again, may tatlong nangyayari sa solar radiation natin. So some is being scattered, some is being reflected back, and some is being absorbed by the Earth. Okay? So the amount of scattering that takes place is dependent on two factors, namely the wavelength of the incoming radiation and the size of the scattering particles or gas molecules. So in the Earth's atmosphere, the presence of a large number of particles with a size of about 0.5 micrometers result in shorter wavelengths being preferentially scattered. So yung shorter wavelengths natin, actually, yung color blue na wavelength. Kung i-compare mo siya sa red wavelength, yung red-colored wavelength, mas maliit yung ating color blue wavelength. Kaya pagdating ng umaga, color blue ang sky natin kasi yung color blue wavelength yung nai-scatter. Okay? So this factor also causes our sky, ayan pala, nakalagay pala dito. So this factor also causes our sky to look blue because this color correspond to those wavelengths that are best diffuse. So if scattering did not occur in our atmosphere, the daylight sky would be black. So yun, katulad ng sa gabi, kapag hindi na-scatter yung wavelengths na yan, color itim lang ang ating sky. Sa gabi naman, walang wavelengths na dumadaan eh. Kaya color itim. Okay? Okay, saglit lang ha. Video to eh. Hanapin ko lang. So in this video that I will be showing you, it is more about the wavelengths. So wait lang ha. Nasaan siya? Ito. Okay, share screen ko lang, no? Naka-share screen na ba?
Yes po, sir.
Okay.
Why is the sky blue? In the middle of a bright, sunny day, the sky is usually a shade of blue. Why blue and not purple, green, or orange? Well, it's all because of how the sun's light reaches Earth. If you see light from the sun hitting the ground, it probably looks like plain white light. However, that white light is made up of all the colors of the rainbow. You can actually separate and see all these colors if you shine sunlight through a specially shaped crystal called a prism. Light energy travels in waves, and different colors of light are created by different types of waves. For example, when our eyes recognize the color red, what we're actually seeing is long, stretched out light waves with peaks that are far apart. And when our eyes recognize the color blue, we're really seeing shorter, choppier light waves with peaks that are close together. The different colors of light are all determined by how stretched out the light waves are. Together, all the colors make up the spectrum of visible light, the light we can see. So why do we only see blue light when we look up into the sky on a sunny day? That blue color we see comes from sunlight hitting Earth's atmosphere, a layer of gases that gives us air to breathe and keeps the planet warm enough to live on. When sunlight reaches Earth's atmosphere, it is scattered in all directions by the gases in the air. The types of gases in Earth's atmosphere mostly scatter the shorter, choppier waves of blue light. So when we see a blue sky, we're really just seeing all of those blue light waves scattering in our atmosphere. But wait a minute, why is the sky a different color at sunset? Well, as the sun gets lower in the sky, its light is passing through more of the atmosphere to reach you. So even more of the blue light is scattered away before it gets to you. This allows more of the orange and yellow light to pass straight through the atmosphere and directly to your eyes. However, if the whole sky is glowing red, it could be due to particles of dust, pollution, or smoke in the air. These particles also scatter lots of blue light, which can lead to a very red sky. NASA's Earth-observing satellites monitor how many of these particles, called aerosols, are in our air. The information from these satellites help forecasters keep an eye out on particles in the air and make sure the air is safe to breathe. In general, a blue sky is good news, and now you know why. Find out more about our home planet at NASA Space Place.
Okay, so that's the explanation kung bakit ganun ang kulay ng ating mga sky. So wait lang ulit, Okay, balik tayo dito sa PowerPoint. So again, sunlight reaching the Earth's surface unmodified by any of the atmospheric process is termed direct or beam solar radiation. Okay? Then yung nai-scatter naman is called diffuse solar radiation. Okay? So in this image, meron talagang na-absorb, merong nare-reflect, and merong nai-scatter dyan. Okay? So if intercepted, some gases and particles in the atmosphere can absorb incoming insolation. So ang absorption, it is defined as a process in which solar radiation is retained by a substance and converted into heat. So nandyan yung mga heating system natin pumapasok. Or yung solar concentration, kung saan na-absorb ng water yung heat ng sun, and when exposed into high temperature na, nagiging steam na, to be used sa steam turbines na. So the creation of heat also causes the substance to emit its own radiation. So in general, the absorption of solar radiation by substance in Earth's atmosphere result in temperatures that get no higher than 1,800 degrees Celsius. Bodies with temperatures at this level or lower would emit their radiation in the long-wave band. Further, this emission of radiation is in all directions, so a sizable proportion of this energy is lost to space. The third process in the atmosphere that modifies incoming solar radiation is reflection. Ang reflection naman is where the sun is redirected by 180 degrees after it strikes an atmospheric particle. So pinabalik lang. Doon ka na ulit. So this redirection causes 100% loss of insolation. Most of the reflection in our atmosphere occurs in the clouds when the light is intercepted by the particles of liquid and frozen water. So the reflectivity or albedo of a cloud can range from 40 to 90%. Next ba? Wait lang ha. Wait lang ha, naglag lang ang laptop ko. Okay, yan. Okay na. So, the amount of energy carried by a photon depends on the wavelength. Ano? So, thus the atoms that comprise a gas can only absorb or emit particular wavelengths of energy. So, we can see this selective absorption by examining the figure. So, the atmosphere absorbs far better in long wave end of the electromagnetic spectrum, which is the region maximum emission, which is 10 micrometers for the Earth. So solar radiation, the actual incident, solar radiation or the insolation is the incident solar power per unit area at a certain location, and it varies according to. So ito again yung mga nagva-vary. So yung So yung geographic location, yung time, yung seasonal, yung angle, and the presence of the clouds. So yung weather. Okay? Itong angle of incidence, lang to? Yung local landscape. So here we have the seasons, which is the equinox and the solstice. So equinox is the time of year wherein the planet of the Earth's equator passes through the geometric center of Earth, roughly around 20th of March and 23rd of September. So while solstice is the time of year wherein the sun reaches its mostly northerly, southerly path relative to the plane of the Earth's equator, around 21 of June and 21 of December. So ano ba ang difference ng equinox and solstice? So sa equinox, there is a time of year when the sun is nearest to the equatorial plane. So meaning, kapag nearest siya sa equatorial plane, equal ang umaga at gabi. Sa equinox yun ha. So again, ang equinox equal ang umaga at gabi. Okay? Dito din, di ba meron 4 seasons sa Earth, which is spring, summer, fall, and winter. So sa equinox, naganap yung spring at fall, kung saan pantay ang day and night. Then we have the solstice. So ang solstice naman, time of the year, kung saan ang sun natin is farthest from the equatorial plane. Okay? Farthest sa equatorial plane lang ha. Hindi sa farthest from the sun, in distance sa sun. So resulting in long nights or long days. Okay? So dyan pumapasok. So from long nights at long days sa solstice, so long nights para sa winter and long days para sa summer. So dito sa solstice nagaganap yung ating summer season and winter season. So yun yung pinagkaiba ng equinox tsaka ng solstice. Then lastly, last na to sa topic 2 natin. Ay sorry. Time na pala
Hindi pa po sir, 2 hours po tayo.
Ay, ano bang oras ng Ay, sorry, mali pala mali ang tingin. Mali kasi oras sa laptop ko. Kala ko 12. Sorry. Okay. Balik tayo dito, So last na to, sa direction of beam radiation. Last na to para sa solar radiation, yung mga direction ng beam. Okay? So we have the latitude and longitude. So siguro naman, familiar na kayo sa latitude and longitude. Tama ba? Thumbs up nga po kung familiar na. O hindi pa? Sige. Explain natin. So ang latitude, it is the angle measured at the center of the Earth, doon sa equator natin. So it is expressed either north or south that varies from 0 to 90 degrees. Then sa longitude naman, ito yung sa measured either east or west and varies from 0 to 180 degrees. So ito image na may image dito for your better understanding ng latitude at longitude. So for latitudes, horizontal yan. Then for longitude, more on vertical. Okay? Then we have the solar declination. So itong direction ng beam na to, itong solar declination is the angle made between the plane of the equator. So yung equator yung titingnan natin, ito. Okay? From the plane of the equator and the line joining the two centers of the Earth and the Sun. So ibig sabihin, so from center ng Earth, then from center ng Sun, yung straight line na yon, then the equator, then yung angle dito. So yun yung ating solar declination. Okay? Then we have the solar altitude angle, which is the line, which is the angle between the line collinear with the sun's ray and the horizontal plane. Then the azimuth, the angle between due to south line and the projection of the location to the sun line on the horizontal plane. Then we have the solar zenith angle, angle between the location to sun line and the vertical at the location. And we have the solar hour angle, which it is the time required for the sun to move 360 degrees around the earth or 15 degrees per hour. So here is an image representation for those. So tingnan natin yung sa zenith. So again, according sa definition ng zenith, nasan ba yun? Angle between the location to sun line and the vertical. So sun line and vertical. So kung ito yung sun line, ito, then sa vertical. So yun na yun. Ito na yung angle ng zenith. Okay? So ganun lang. Tingnan nyo lang yung definition doon. Tingnan nyo lang din yung representation dito for your better understanding. Okay? Kung paano yung direction ng ating mga iba't ibang angles ng beams. Then we have the angle of incidence. So it's the angle between the sun's ray and the normal on the surface. Then we have the azimuth. It is the angle between the normal to the surface from true south westward is designated as the positive. So here is another image for your better understanding dito sa dalawang ito. And then that is all for our first part ng topic 2. So since tapos na ang ating discussion, any questions po regarding sa ating unang topic, pati din dito sa ating part 1 ng topic 2? Any questions? Clarifications?
Wala naman po, sir.
Paano mandaya ng kuryente? Oh, wala. Sige. So if there are no more questions, so thank you for attending. And see you next meeting, which is face-to-face. We will be discussing the part 2 of our topic 2. So thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.